Okay, welcome to the PRL Amateur GT3 Series here at Spa-Francorchamps. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties outside of our control, you're listening to an audio broadcast of Precision Racing League. For one moment, we are waiting until we get live pictures from the track, but Kenny Kibi here with us on the commentary booth. The race has just started and already we have drama, as the Spa tends to be.
Yeah, there was a huge accident on the exit of Redion with the leader, Jonathan Wager, crashed, hit a barrier, and just everybody just piled in behind him. We have multiple cars in the pits, essentially out of this race, and it looks like we'll have to wait until the time and scoring updates here when they come around to finish lap 1, but it's certainly not the pole sitter anymore, as the top 4 drivers were all involved in that accident with terminal damage.
So you're saying Jonathan Wager, our championship leader, is already out of the event. I think Luke Davis might have been involved in that one. He's in second place of the championship, and then we have couple of other drivers involved in that one. We'll get updates to you, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as we can. We apologize for the inconvenience. It is outside of our control. Technical difficulties do happen sometimes, but we are getting a 40-minute race here from Spa-Francorchamps, so don't worry, there will still be plenty of time to enjoy the racing here. Kenny, I believe we are now at the end of lap number 1, and we'll soon have the leader of the race that we can actually announce and tell our ladies and gentlemen to who has survived the calamities on top of riding on.
Yeah, so Ethan Tavitas has taken the lead. He has a 3-second lead over the line ahead of Miguel Angel Fonseca, sorry. But yeah, Tavitas up from 10th to 1st on lap 1 just tells you how large that wreck was at the beginning. Really, everybody in the top 5 now started outside of the top 10 at the beginning of this race. So things have gotten pretty spread out as well, and a lot of our big-time players already out of this race.
Wow. So to tell you about what a surprise this is, Ethan Tavitas is sitting in 10th place. He's driving for YS Motorsports Black. He's sitting in 10th place of the championship standings, and Nikos Zanidakis, who is in 2nd place, he is in 9th place of the standings. So we have a lot of the leaders out, and this is going to really be a shake-up for our championship as well here at Spa. We were expecting drama here. We were expecting a lot of solid racing, and we were getting live pictures as well of said solid racing, but this is perhaps more than anyone anticipated. Tavitas from Fonseca, sorry, he's in 2nd place. So it's actually Fonseca who has taken that, sorry, my mistake. I believe Kenny said it correctly. So Miguel Angel Fonseca and Kenneth Rines, Alexander Rodriguez, Kenny Rodriguez in 5th place. But yeah, look at the championship leaders. They're all way out there. You don't have Wager, you don't have Davis, you don't have Nin, you don't have Horvath. None of those guys are in top 10. So it's really gonna shake things up as we are watching the GT3 cars here at Spa heading towards Blanchimont corner and onto the bus stop. But still, despite the accident, which is gonna be a big talking point today, let's face it, Kenny, there are still some good packs going on and some good pack racing as well.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like most drivers here in the top 5 or the front half of the top 5 are pretty separated, but you get back towards 5th place, Kenny Rodriguez, Matt Hilton, these guys are battling it out. They're pretty close to each other as we go down into La Source to start lap number 3. So these guys are pretty close, and it's nice to see a Ford GT from Neil Alexander up in the top 5. Don't see that car often used anymore in GT3 competition, but nice to see that car running well. Yeah, this is the closest battle on track at the moment, and like I said, all these guys started outside of the top 10. None of the top 10 starters are in the top 10 anymore. It's just astonishing to me how huge that wreck was, but that just shows you how brutal Eau Rouge and Radion can be, especially on cold tires, and when a wreck happens in the front of the field, it's pretty tremendous.
It is, especially as it's a blind corner, a blind exit, as Hilton takes the 4th place away from Alexander, and those two have swapped places. Yeah, the Ford GT, I love seeing that car. It's been Ford GT2 was a mainstay on iRacing for a lot of years, especially here in Finland, where I'm from. The Finnish community used to love racing Ford GT2s, Glacier Racing. I believe they still race Fords in some of the series, but in GT3, so it is a car that has certainly made its mark. And this is the old Ford GT, mind you. This is not the new GTE. This is the old Ford GT that we are seeing racing here at the Ardennes foothills in Belgium, and trying to hold off Kenny Rodriguez at the moment. Kenny Rodriguez, of course, one of the most influential members here on Precision Racing League. He's a really swell guy. He's a solid, a real gentleman racer, but not in the wrong way. He is not a gentleman racer because he is slow. He's a gentleman racer because he is truly a respectful driver on and off the track. And Amador as well joining that pack, so it's all the way from 4th to 7th, separated by a couple of seconds. And right now it looks like Hilton is able to get a little bit away from Alexander, who is trying to hold off Rodriguez and Amador.
Yeah, he is starting to build up a little bit of a gap here. Real quick, I do want to say it's a pretty cool track temp, 73 degrees at the moment. Looks like a decent amount of clouds in the sky today. As the battle gets a little bit closer between 5th and 6th place with Neil Alexander and 6th place Kenny Rodriguez there. Looks like we're about not quite 8 minutes into this one, and the field already really spread out here. But you know, going back to the last race we just covered, remember, Ozzy, you talked about how when the drivers will make a pit stop, they will have their worst handling cars that they'll have all day long right after their pit stop with full fuel and poor tires. That'll be something to keep in mind here as you go through spots. Quite a challenging course, even with a perfect handling car. There'll be something to keep in mind here in the second half of this race.
Absolutely, as here we have to move from Kenny Rodriguez being able to get his Porsche ahead of Alexander. So Alexander is now relegated one more position. Neil Alexander, he's sitting 25th in the championship standings. So despite losing positions here, he'll still get a decent points haul. So this is really going to be an important round for these guys. And it's going to be a lot of nerves as well, I believe, Kenny, because they have now suddenly been elevated to positions where they don't necessarily expect to be in. So you have 5th place, 6th place, 7th place. Your expectations before the race were maybe fighting for 15th, 16th, 17th place. So it's going to be a lot of pressure. And a lot of drivers take to it differently. Some drivers just want to showcase their abilities and try to maximize their potential, maybe pushing it a little bit harder than the others. And other drivers are going to be like, right, I just better take it safe, you know, not make any further errors. It's Spa, it's a demanding track. I'm just gonna want to, you know, maximize my points haul by finishing solid. And some drivers are going to be like, right, I'm going to maximize my points haul by being fast and trying to finish as high up as possible, which is of course the goal in any sort of racing. But you have the differences in approach when you're thrown into a new kind of a situation. But the good thing for these drivers is that despite being elevated all the way into top 10, all the way into top 5 in some cases, they are still pretty much fighting the same guys. As we have a good battle side by side here for 9th place. It's Vargas getting ahead of Dewey's. And around the outside goes the Lamborghini, taking a little bit of liberties with the track limits at Blanchimont, but able to get the overtake done. So that's an overtake for Vargas, who is now elevated himself up to 9th. With half an hour remaining, large gaps, it's going to be fascinating to see how this develops, and if anyone from who was starting on the pointy end of the field is able to make a recovery drive, or whether the cars are too badly damaged to really even think about such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't think any of the drivers that start up front will be making any recovery. There might be some that'll get their damage repaired and maybe limp around for a few laps, but most of these guys they're still in the pits. There's a few of them that have even exited the session. So I think those guys are pretty well done for. But I want to go back to what you just mentioned in the track limits, because remember, you get 13 incidents until you get a penalty here, and Spa is a place where you can make up astronomical amounts of time if you're willing to exceed the track limits. But so again, like what we talked at the end of the last race, where if you have some X's in the bank, you're definitely going to want to use them, and you can get, I mean, up to about 5x per lap, really, if you're not careful. But it's something that really you can kind of save and put in your back pocket if you drive clean enough through the beginning of the race to get yourself some extra speed in the last few laps.
Yeah, access are really useful to have in the bank. I mean, you can get some extra speed, you have some extra leeway, you don't have to worry about so much, and after the race you can use them to chop down a tree.
Right.
So, yeah, an overtake here once again. I believe that's one of the Audis who has got really a lot of rear wing damage. So, wow, that's gonna hinder his performance a lot. Let's see, Jordan Walker here at 17th place, Parabola Midnight, and that's going to be certainly a midnight for him. And that's a terrible feeling when you have a damaged car, when you have your rear wing broken, and just, you know, having to go around the track, essentially get out of the way. You're a moving chicane and you can't do much else. But still, with so many drivers out, you just still want to finish the race and you want to maximize your performance as he's getting out of this out of the leader's way here. But we also have an interview lined up, and this is a rare occasion because we're gonna have a mid-race interview. Again, apologies to the viewers, we were not able to get you footage of the lap 1 crash, but we have one of the drivers who was involved in that accident, who is in 3rd place of the championship standings, Guac Nin. And welcome to the commentary booth. Now, first of all, I'm gonna ask you the obvious question. Just what happened at the exit of Ready on lap number 1?
Well, with cold tires going up Rouge, Jonathan had lost it at the top, hit the wall, came back on the track. I barely missed him, and then I think Joey had also lost it, hit the wall as well, came back across the track, and Michael ran into him. I was right behind Michael, so I couldn't anticipate him coming back across the track to avoid it, and I got caught up in that.
Wow, that's very, very, very unlucky, and that's going to mean a lot of championship leaders are out of contention, but at least it's the Wout Kimi Räikkönen. It's the same for everyone. So what is the situation now between the drivers, like in the pit wall? Is there any bad blood going, or are you just enjoying watching the race? And how are the track conditions here at Spa today?
The track conditions are pretty ideal. It's not too hot, not too cold. Everyone else got, like Jonathan, myself, Michael, and Joey. We're pretty much out of the race. I mean, my repairs are pretty much 40 minutes, so I'm not gonna get back into in the meantime. But however, I am still staying in to watch the race so I could spot my teammates and hopefully get them to the top 5 or a podium at least.
So who is your teammate in this event?
So Parabola, we have 3 teams in the league.
Wow.
That's Parabola NFR, which is my team, Cobalt, and I think the other one was Midnight or Azure. I don't remember.
Midnight, yeah.
Yeah, within my team, it's me, Nico, who's not here today, and Matt, who hasn't been racing lately. But even though we're in separate teams, I still like to root on my teammates. So right now, I'm trying to spot Alex since he spotted me in the last night's race.
That's good, and let's hope that they can bring in some solid results. Right, thank you very much for coming to an interview with us, and if you have anything else you'd like to add, then feel free to do so.
Yes, sir. Keep up the good work with the broadcast. Everyone really enjoys it.
Thank you, Guac Nin, and we'll let you get back to spotting, and we are getting back to the race action as well, watching live pictures here. And I'm looking right now at the... Okay, we are watching different pictures, but I'm looking right now at the leader Eric Tavitas, who is actually, yeah, he is in the pictures and about to lap some cars. He's been on a solid pace so far. He's been able to extend his gap to Fonseca by a couple of tenths of a second per lap. So it looks very, very good to me so far. But as we saw earlier on with the Ferrari challenge, Kenny, there are still pitfalls, there are still some mistakes you have to avoid, especially here at Spa.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the last race we watched, remember, the leader led the entire way until the very last lap. So for sure, anything can happen, and we feel kind of like everything has happened already in this one, but long way to go yet, as we're not quite to the halfway point in this one. And but yeah, Tavitas is doing a great job. He's extended his lead. Last I looked, it was about 3 seconds. Now it's up to beyond 4 seconds last lap. So he's been doing a good job. And but it's been pretty spread out for the top 5 or so. But beyond that, the back half of the top 5 back into like 6th and beyond, it's been relatively close. Yeah, we still have that pit stop to go yet, and anything else can still happen. Also, 15 cars left on the lead lap after that melee at the beginning, with over 30 cars that started this race. So again, if you just finish this one at this point, you can possibly get a decent finish.
I mean, absolutely, top 15, top 10 for a lot of these guys will be their best result of the season. Some pitters as well. Alfredo Amador from Baram Racing, pitting from the from 8th place. He's gonna be the one to essentially start this pit stop cycle. It's very early on. It's a 40-minute race. You don't often see drivers pitting from before the halfway point. Ideally, you wanna save your pit stop for after the halfway point, but he's already pitting before the halfway point. I think just trying to get into some clear air, and especially at Spa, clear air on that second and third sector, that's gonna mean a lot of time gained if you do have the pace. And we are moving back to the battles on drag duties, and the Moors are here at the Camel Straight in positions 9 and 10. It's gonna be Duis trying to defend his position up on the inside. Morris trying to go around the outside a long way around. Don't do a Rosberg Hamilton here. They won't. Still side by side, and it's gonna be Duis holding on to the 9th place for now, coming to Rivage. And then we go to the Jackie X corner, the left-hander, which is previously called the No Name. It's also known as the Speaker's corner, but the left-hander here, the Jackie X corner, and heading to Poupon. It's mind-bending, really, how fast these corners, like, these are fast corners with GT cars, Kenny, and with these cars, like, really nice bends to go around in. It's a nice flowing track. But what will always blow my mind, Formula 1 these days, Poupon corner flat out. Just no, that should be impossible.
Right. Yeah, they do seem to defy the laws of physics. But yeah, this is a very fast track. Oh, we do have a car off. It's Jason Burmeister. He has spun her around, and he was in 15th place, the last car on the lead lap, it looks like. Looks like he just backed her into the fence. Got a little bit, he just had a lazy spin coming out of that corner and spun her around. I think he'll be able to keep going. And again, if he just finishes this one, he should be able to get 15th, 16th place. I did notice, though, a few of the drivers involved in that big melee at the beginning have come back out onto the track. Like Luke Davis is one of them. He's 6 laps down, but he's out there, and you know, he can possibly at least make up a position or two, and you know, every point matters.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of wrecked race cars. I saw the Ferrari earlier, looking more like a Ferrari 360 than the modern 488 that we have here, with the lack of rear wing and the slightly modified body shape. Some other cars as well. We see a brand new take on the Ford GT design, and we have some cars out there in pit lane as well, with pit limiter on. That's what the flashing headlights mean, one and the other flashing. That's Drew Dewey's. Also a Parabola driver taking his pit stop at this moment in time, and is able to get back on track. Now we are using the Grand Prix pit lane here, so that means it's the shorter pit lane, and it also means a nice little hairpin at the end of the pit lane that you can easily get clobbered into if you're not careful with the heavy load of fuel and the slightly colder tires. So that's one of the hazards that we can talk about. Another thing is, unless I'm much mistaken, has Fonseca caught up 1 second during the course of this lap? Is he gaining on Tavidas, or is it just me?
He definitely has gained a slight bit. We'll see. He's still not within striking distance. He's definitely close. He can actually see the leader up in front, which hasn't always been the case in this race. But yeah, I'll have to monitor that as we get into the second half of this race here, get closer and closer to that pit stop.
Is that Princess Peach?
I think you're correct.
Oh, it's we just heard from the director. It's some anime crap, so get that out of my screen. So Fonseca catching up to Tavidas and Rines in P number 3, holding on to the final podium place. Haven't mentioned him too much on this race, but he's been in these pictures a couple of times. So yeah, I think I sounded like a boomer there just in a moment. Oh, one more car in the pit lane. I believe that was someone behind the leaders. Might have been a lapped car actually. No, it's Alexander. Alexander is heading to the pit lane at this moment in time. So if Neil Alexander from Parabola Cobalt team is able to get his pit stop done, one of the 4 GDs as well. And you mentioned it earlier on, but I want to mention it again. I love seeing the old lady still back on track.
Yeah, good run for Neil Alexander so far. He lost a few spots, but he's just, I can tell he's just trying to race the track, take what it's going to give him, and he's having a solid run here. If he plays his cards right, stays on the track, he can get back into the top 5 again. He's had a solid run. He's exiting the pit lane right now. And I did want to mention, Spa has one of the most challenging pit roads these drivers are going to face all season long, both the entry and the exit. With the entry, they have pretty much a blind corner to enter in. Very easy to overcook it, smash into the right side wall. And then the exit, they have a tight corner, a right-hand corner that they have to make to exit and make sure that they make the blend line on the exit as well. So very tricky and a slow pit lane. Only 37 miles an hour is the speed limit here. So very different from the Ferrari race that we just covered earlier.
Absolutely. The Imola pit lane is one of the easiest ones in motorsport. This is one of the hardest. And next week we'll be at Detroit at Belle Isle, and that's actually your home state, I believe.
Yeah, that's my home track, Detroit Belle Isle. I just ran a league race there on my own a few weeks ago. I got second place, but that's a challenging track in its own. Street circuit, very, very different from anything that we've seen this week. So that'll be an interesting new challenge for all these drivers as they go over to the United States for a race.
Yeah, and right after that we'll be at Mount Panorama, the Bathurst race, which is the 8th round of the championship. So you have Detroit, Belle Isle, which is a street circuit, and Bathurst, that is pretty much a street circuit. We talked about this between the races actually on our little break that we had, that Bathurst is one of the most demanding tracks. You have to be absolutely on it all the time. And after that they get to Watkins Glen and Monza, which are some of the, well, on paper, some of the easier tracks, but really with the melee here at Spa-Francorchamps, the absolute calamity that you saw, that you didn't see actually on lap 1, apologies for that. But yeah, the absolute calamity here, taking out most of the championship leaders. Then you head to Belle Isle and you head to Bathurst. So despite the fact that our championship leader, Jonathan Wager, is gonna still have a healthy lead after this round, nothing is set in stone. You make a couple of mistakes, you make one tiny error, and your lead is gonna disappear in a flash.
That's for sure. And some of these leaders still have not made their pit stop. Did notice David Morse in the top 10. He is now entering the pit lane, as you're watching on screen right now. He's had a decent, solid run. He's up 20 spots, 30th to 10th. Great run for him so far. But yeah, still the leaders have still not made their pit stop, which I kind of expect them to run their fuel tanks as dry as that they can. This is a big track, though. You got to make sure you know your fuel mileage around here and make sure you don't get caught out and run out either now or at the end of the race. But I've been keeping an eye on the lead battle. The 13 car in second place has kind of kept it around between 3 and 4 seconds. But Ethan Tavitas, he's done a great job so far. But we'll see. We'll have to keep an eye out when these guys make their pit stops to see if anything changes on their in-laps and out-laps.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not going to be really, Fonseca is not going to really be able to fuel save because he's not in the draft. But he's been able to hold on that gap really nicely. It's around 3 seconds. It's been hovering turn about for the last couple of laps. So it's really about how much can he push it, how much leeway does he have in terms of the track limits, in terms of his car. And also, I mean, if either of them messes up their pit stop, we saw that already in the Ferrari challenge race, if either of them messes up their pit stop, that 3-second lead is not going to be looking so healthy anymore. So yeah, you have to really take it steady, take it easy, and so far so good for Tavitas. He's been really on a form here today, and I'm looking at his driving. The car looks okay to me. Doesn't look like there's any significant damage in it at all. And his lines look solid, and he looks very calm. I know it's difficult to say when we don't see the driver physically. We don't see what his face is looking like. He could be sweating bullets for all that I know, but he's right now in a good place, and he's driving a very good race. And these guys are in a bit of a battle here, having found each other on the track and having a very good fight for themselves indeed. I believe there might be one lapped car in the mix with that one, so it's Kogel and it's Dewey's, and then we have a lapped car in the mix with those guys as well. So this is for the 11th place currently on the road. Oh, and we have somebody in the wall at Blanchimont, might be one of the lapped cars, that one as well. A little bit of a mishap and able to get back going. So yeah, as I just mentioned, a lot of mistakes still waiting to happen, a lot of drivers still waiting to battle, and despite the depleted field, we still have quite a many talking points. I haven't even reached into my pun bag too badly, the X1, but aside from that.
Yeah, going back to your point earlier about how Tavitas just looks calm behind the wheel right now, I could tell that Miguel Angel Fonseca is, he does look like he's pushing just a little bit more than Ethan in first. I could tell he was pushing the limits on the track limits just a little bit more. Still doing a great job. He's really pulled away. He's about 3.5-ish seconds plus ahead of third place, so no worries with traffic, but it just seems like he's pushing the limits of the track just a little bit more than Ethan Tavitas. See him going just a little bit wide there on the exit of the corner, but just trying to stay within reach of the leader, which is totally understandable. And you know, why not go for it?
Yeah, they are pretty much in a pressure-free situation. Well, Tavitas, of course, leading the race, which is never a pressure-free situation. A win here would be massive for him. Oh, and he's coming to the pit lane, as is Fonseca. So this is going to be crucial for the progress of this race. Will it all go swimmingly, or will they be joining the swim team that is already on the pit lane? We have all of the leaders pitting here. Let's see if Tavitas can stop into his pit stall right on time. The answer is yes. Fonseca as well. Oh, I think he clobbered one of the cars that was already on the pit lane. Might have been a slight hit, might have just been a graphical glitch. Either way, they are now stopped and they will be refueling, and at least Tavitas is able to get back underway in a good time, and Fonseca was 0.9 of a second faster during his stop, but his lane time was still around the same. Oh, and you saw Fonseca actually sliding a little bit out of the pit lane. So yeah, that's gonna be the cold tires. Well, the tires that have now gone through an entire heat cycle. They are now cold on the surface, but they are still warm, and you have a little bit heavier car than before. So it's going to be really crucial to get back going and take it easy on the first couple of braking zones.
Yeah, you did mention that you know, Tavitas was maybe slower in his pit stall, but about even with Fonseca when it came to overall pit time, and that all comes down to pit entry, especially pit entry. Drivers can make up time, but they can also lose time if they mess that up. So good job by Tavitas, nice and smooth as he's been all race. Was able to get a nice pit entry, and maybe he took a few extra gallons to make sure he could get to the end of the race, or maybe Miguel Fonseca went the other way and took a little bit of fuel away in order to make it to the end, try to be a little aggressive in the pit lane. But it looks like they're going to come out pretty much even to where they were, maybe a little bit more of an advantage for Tavitas, but decent pit stops for all the leaders.
Absolutely, and here we are seeing an exciting battle between Amador and Vargas, teammates at Varam Racing, and despite that, driving different cars. So we have a BMW M4, I believe that is, with one of the ugliest noses in racing, unfortunately, that car. Still a fast race car, mind you, I just don't like the looks. And then we have the Lamborghini behind him of Vargas, and they're going to be battling here for the honors of 7th place and some very good points. Now, battles between teammates. You say it's always said in racing that the teammate is your worst enemy, but at the same time you're also scoring team points, and it's a very, very relevant thing here in the championship. So you have to watch out, really. You have to be extra careful when you're racing your teammate. But at the same time, Kenny, you wouldn't want to lose to your teammate, would you?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it personally is just, just do not hit him. Don't hit him, don't wreck him. And you may give him a little bit of more of a break than you would another driver, but there's definitely a competitiveness there. And, if you're the guy in behind and you're chasing your teammate, you're always going to think, man, I'm faster. He needs to let me go. But it's still a race, and I appreciate when there's no team orders and they can just kind of go at it. Because, to be honest, when you're racing your teammates, a lot of times that's drivers you can trust the most. And a lot of times that ends up on iRacing anyway, being some of the most fun racing that you can have is when you can race your teammates, your buddies. So these guys are going at it. They're playing nice so far, and both running in the top 10 when they both started outside the top 20. So maybe we'll see Vargas get around Amador here, but maybe we'll see them just kind of tandem their way up through the field.
Yeah, and here you see Vargas actually looking to the inside and making an easy work of it. Yeah, making an easy work of it at Lecombe, so he's going to be able to get around Amador, and I think that was somewhat predetermined that, there's no point for Vargas to really hold up Amador. For Amador to hold up Vargas at this point in time. He's able to get ahead, and now they can get to chasing Neil Alexander, who is only 3 seconds ahead of them. So 3 seconds, we have 8 minutes left. That's around 4 laps. Kenny, you think it's within the realm of possibility?
Yeah, I think so. Vargas has really pulled away from Amador since he got by. And I'd say he's within a couple seconds already, and that Lamborghini really has the legs down the straightaways in most situations. Granted, this is open setup, so they could set it up any way they would want, but generally speaking, that Lamborghini is kind of known for its straight line speed, and this is a pretty wide open track. Vargas he's visually reeling in Neil Alexander at this point. I think he can grab one more spot before this thing's done.
Yep, that would mean 6th place for Vargas, and it means also a lot of points for these guys. Varam Racing haven't had the best of seasons so far, Amador and Vargas. They are sitting pretty low down in the team standings, so it will be a healthy pick-me-up. And sometimes, despite the circumstances, people will say it's a lucky result because of the early incident, but they were able to avoid it. So that's one kudos to them. And sometimes a good result, regardless of how it comes, can really give you a confidence boost going on later into the season. So watch out for these guys as we head to Detroit next week, and then we head to Bathurst. A couple of other good results, solid finishes, and who knows, these guys might turn out to be a real force to be reckoned with. By the way, in case somebody's wondering how can I join in, how can I drive in this series, so this is the Precision Racing League GT3 Amateur Series, and it is for drivers with a minimum of 1500 and a maximum of 2500 I rating. So that is really, well, it says amateur series, but both of those numbers are still above average. So it's a really great incentive to get some more guys into these races. It's still an open setup, so you can still work on your setups, and I think it's a good concept. I think it's a good concept for those drivers who don't want to enter the Precision Racing League GT3 series, which is always and has always been very tough. So it's a good place for drivers to make a name for themselves. Maybe, get picked up by some of the bigger teams, or join one of the junior programs of the bigger teams, and really, start your road towards, who knows, maybe even a pro career on sim racing.
Yeah, I think this is the PRL has a slew of a ton of really good series, both in road and in oval, but this is a really good series to help people work on their racecraft, get used to running in big fields, not have to worry about their I rating going down or up, not have to worry about their safety rating going down or up. This is a place for guys to get together and race hard but clean. And even though we had that large wreck at the beginning of the race, that was totally an accident. The racecraft itself, though you've seen in both races tonight, has been really good. The guys are not afraid to go side by side, but guys give each other room, and they notice when guys are faster behind them and don't necessarily let them go, but they know when to lift and when not to, and it's really shows just how nice it is to race in the Precision Racing League. And I do like the concept of having kind of a junior series because it keeps the competition high within both leagues. You got the lower iRating guys that are all really close to each other, and you also have higher iRating guys in the Pro Series that are close to each other as well. You're not going to have a huge skill gap between the two.
Yeah, and the great thing about league racing, as we are watching some battles here all around the track, the great thing about, I believe that's Morse versus Gross, 12th and 13th at the moment. Morse is ahead of Gross at the moment, so that's going to be a Ferrari versus a Lamborghini battle, two Italian manufacturers going at it. But yeah, the great thing about league racing is really the environment. You're racing the same guys week in, week out, season in, season out. Sometimes you have new guys joining in, but you really have a close-knit community that learns to respect each other, that learns to know the drivers around the track. And while official racing is also great, it's better on iRacing certainly than any other platform out there. But it still can be a little bit feisty sometimes. So for those who maybe don't have the time to go for the official iRating grind to get into top splits, league racing is really the way to go to hone your racecraft, to be able to practice in a familiar environment, to have a set time where you're going to race each and every week, like here on Tuesday nights at the Precision Racing League, which is actually a Wednesday night for us here in Europe, but Tuesday nights, late Tuesday nights in the US. And you really have an international community. It's not just American drivers or, well, North American drivers like from United States or from Canada. You have a lot of South American drivers who are really able to make their name, and I really like when I did the Pro Series. Oh, and is that Neil Alexander? No, it's not Neil Alexander. It's somebody else who has gone a little bit off here. I think that's Duisi, actually, who is losing. Yeah, Drew Duisi of the Parabola Cobalt team has put that beautiful Ford GT into the wall at the Jackie X corner, and he's lost it again. That car is undrivable. It is shaped like a banana, and I think the spot is going to be your car is toast. Let's go back to the pit lane.
Yep, yeah, he's pulled it off, and he was in 11th place. We look back at the replay here, just, he got into a slide and then overcorrected, slammed into the tire barrier, and then he tried to drive it away, and like you were saying, I think his car was just pretty much undrivable at that point and lost it a second time, and just didn't want to endanger anybody else from then on. Looking at the replay a second time here, just overcorrected, and which is easy to do. These things like to snap loose on you, and that'll take away a pretty darn good finish. He was in 11th place at the time, and that's going to drop him down here with less than 2 minutes to go. So that's a heartbreaker for Duis. But looking back up front, Ethan Tavitas has extended his lead over 4 seconds over Fonseca. These guys have been pretty much at the forefront since the beginning, and Fonseca's extended his advantage over third place Christopher Rines up to about 4.5 seconds. So pretty spread out up at the front. These guys are just trying to survive and get to the finish.
Yeah, but look at Vargas now in 7th place. He's been able to get away from his teammate Amador, extend the gap to 4.5 seconds, and I think, judging by the gaps, he's actually lapping faster than the race leader at this moment in time. So Vargas is really on a roll here. And look at this gap. We were wondering, I asked you, Kenny, earlier on, if he's going to catch up to Neil Alexander before the end of this race. Well, here we are, 50 seconds to the end of this race. I believe one more lap still to go, but these guys are going to be right neck on neck once we come to Kemmel Straight next time around. And wow, he's been really on it, Vargas. So that's a great result for Lucio Vargas of the Varam Racing team, sitting 16 in the championship at the moment. 2 did not start in there, so he's been only able to take part in 3 races so far, steadily improving his points haul, and gonna pick up a nice amount of them out here today as well. But this is what I like about this amateur series, about so-called a feeder series or lower division, is that you get these guys who might be newer to the service, who might be newer to the sim racing, and we are able to watch their development. And if he is able to reel up guys like that, able to match the lap time of leaders at such a late point, and really able to get it on in a catch, we'll be seeing this man, Lucio Vargas, in the Pro Series maybe as early as next season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Vargas can make this pass happen. He's got one more lap to do it. One thing to note here, I'm sure pretty confident that the leaders took enough fuel. However, we have to basically run an extra lap further than what most drivers were probably expecting, because we took the white flag with just about 20 seconds left on the clock. We came right down to the last few seconds to take the white. So this race a little bit longer than maybe some of these guys were expecting. We're watching down as Vargas trying to maybe take a look down into Lacoma. Defensive line from Alexander. He's going to send it down the outside. Nicely done. He makes it stick, and that's going to be a 6th place grab there for Vargas. Nicely done pass.
That's a very good pass and a very solid pass, and now he's able to get the move down ahead of a place where he's really strong in Rivage corner. Then you turn left towards the Jackie X corner, and I think by the time Pujon rolls around, he's come and gone. He is away enough so that he doesn't have to worry about Alexander anymore as they come towards the Blanchimont, which is the other overtaking opportunity. But here we are following the leader, Ethan Tavitas. He is from Florida. He is a man with 1889 I rating. 1889 I rating. I said it correctly the first time around. He has only joined iRacing last year, but despite that, he's been able to find his pace here at Precision Racing League. He is the one who survived Spa-Francorchamps, and as he comes to the bus stop, it is gonna be a clear win for Ethan Tavitas. He's gonna take the maximum points that you can get in a race from the most demanding of tracks, arguably in the schedule. Here we go. He wrote himself to the Annal of Legends. He is a victor here at Belgium, and he is ahead of the rest of the field. So that's gonna be an amazing feeling for Ethan Tavitas, and surely a victory that he's gonna remember for a long time. And we are watching now the 6th place battle, and it is indeed Vargas who is able to stay ahead of Neil Alexander in that 4th GD. Little flash of the headlights. He's happy with his race. He's able to make a good recovery, and for a good reason. So we just enjoyed 40 minutes of GT3 racing here at Spa-Francorchamps. We have our race winner, Ethan Tavitas, trying to figure out donuts, running out of fuel maybe before that, and we'll have the race results for you right after this break, so don't go anywhere.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced SimRacing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, You can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an advanced sim racing customer.
Welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps. We are joining live pictures atop the main straight after a dramatic round number 6 of the PRL Tuesday GT Amateur Series, and we have the final results for you on screen. Ethan Tavitas taking the race win 3.5 seconds ahead of Mijoel Angel Fonseca. Christopher Rines rounding out the podium with Matt Hilton in 4th place and Kenny Rodriguez taking home 5th place honors. Lucio Vargas with an amazing last lap move on Neil Alexander taking home 6th. Alfredo Amador is gonna be 8th, Nick McLaughlin 9th, and Patrick Kogel gonna round out your top 10.
11th place belongs to David Morse, started 30th up to 11th there. Sylvain Bergeron up to 12th place. He was the last driver that finished on the lead lap. Randy Gross in 13th, followed by Michael Blaze in 14th. Jordan Walker was 15th, followed by Michael Pleward in 16th. Drew DeWeese, who we saw had some mishaps at the end of the race, ended up 17th. 18th was Barry Cochran, and the drivers beyond here were involved, a lot of them involved in the first lap accident. Jason Burmeister ended up 19th, and then 20th is Luke Davis.
Yep, and rest of your results here on the screen. A lot of drivers, casualties, unfortunately, of the first lap incident. You got Mackenzie, Atterbury, Nin, Horvath, Mulholland, Slavonik, Papaglianokov, Wager, Dale, championship leader, Jonathan Wager, a lot of the championship leaders out, Alcala, Cagnoni as well. 10 cars involved in that one. Like half a dozen to dozen people out of the race. They're going to be very disappointed, but there are also drivers who are very happy, and we have the honor and pleasure to talk to our race winner next. I have here the man from Florida who drives a Porsche, Ethan Tavitas. Were you expecting to be congratulated as the race winner once this race started?
I couldn't have expected any of that, especially the race start. That was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty much insane. Big wreck happening, but that doesn't take anything away from your performance out there today. Number 1 on your car and number 1 on the track. How was it out there today? Were the conditions difficult, or did you have a pleasure of run?
It was intense. It was definitely fun, but leading has an added pressure that you don't have when you're following cars. So it was fun, but it was definitely difficult.
So pretty quiet out there for you today. Did that allow you too much time to think, so to speak, when you didn't have anyone to necessarily battle with for 40 minutes, and you know that you were in the lead of the race, under a scrutiny, under a spotlight? Was that a situation that was difficult for you, or is it something that you already have experience with?
You know, it was yeah, my mind was on a million different things, and it was difficult, but yeah, it was definitely a challenge. Yeah.
But it was a challenge that you were able to beat, and a challenge you came away from victorious. Ethan Tavitas, congratulations for your victory here at Spa-Francorchamps. Must feel amazing conquering this legendary venue. Who would you like to thank? Who made it happen for you tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, all the practice that we put in. Sean, he is the master of setups, and he's a legend for that. And yeah, just insane having a great team to practice with.
Well, that must surely be a good feeling. Now go on and enjoy it, Ethan, and thank you for the interview.
Thank you, guys.
So that was Ethan Tavitas, our race winner out here today. And next up, we have Kenny Kibbe talking to our 2nd place driver.
I'm down here with Miguel Fonseca, and I have to ask first, Miguel, take me through what you saw from your perspective on that lap 1 accident, because it looked like the seas just parted perfectly for you.
Yeah, it was kind of scary. As soon as I saw the accident, I lift off. I had to brake sometimes and play a little zigzag there. And after the accident, I was amazed when I saw my rail tape and saw that I was second.
Yeah, and talk about it. After you got to second, you saw Ethan Tavetas up there. How hard were you pushing to try to catch up to him, knowing you had a pretty large gap? They had to make up, and also keeping in mind that it's really easy to build up incident points around Spa by using too much runoff.
Yeah, since the practice, I knew that I was really off the pace, so I was trying to keep a safe distance. Yeah, I mean, not trying to push too hard because I kind of have accidents really easy. But being there in case of Tavitas making a mistake.
Was there anything in the car setup maybe that you could have used more of to help you gain that little last bit of speed to maybe run down the leader?
Yeah, I think I sacrificed a lot of downforce to have a little more of top speed on the straights, but as I wasn't following anyone, it was kind of hard to keep the pace.
Well, you had a great run here tonight, 12th place at the start, second place at the finish. Do you have anybody to thank for your run tonight?
Yeah, my family and my girlfriend, I always saw my races, and they were kind of disappointed in the last couple races. I had a little of bad luck, but finally some good luck, and I think I made them happy.
Great run tonight, Miguel. Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks.
That was our second place driver, Miguel Fonseca, and it looks like Ozzy is caught up with our third place driver, Christopher Rhines.
Yes, sir. It is the man finishing on the podium out here today. Christopher, it's been a very solid and consistent season for you in terms of position, in terms of points gained, but podium here from Spa-Francorchamps, that's not only gonna elevate your confidence, I'm sure, but also able to elevate you up in the championship standings. How was it out there today?
Yeah, I have to say I got really lucky. I qualified 14th. I didn't do too well in my qualifying, so I got really lucky. I saw the accident happening, and I slowed down and managed to get through. And I'll take it. Third place. The points will be good, and with Matt Hilton, my teammate, right behind me, this is great for our team as well.
Absolutely, and in case you were able to slow on time, and judging by the shape of your car, which is pristine, you were, it's not luck, it's a skill plus experience, and that is going to be a good lesson for everybody else to slow down to the accidents as well, instead of just yeeting right into them. So how was the BMW handling? It's a popular choice here in this series, and BMW GT3 car, the M4. Tell us about that a little bit. Open setup, so were you able to get it set up well with your teammates, and how was it handling this demanding track?
Oh yeah, so I'm a huge BMW homer, so I love the BMW cars, so I tend to race the BMWs. All my teammates kind of make fun of me for it, but Matt has joined me in the BMW this season, so it's been great to kind of go along with him, and we're planning on running Bathurst 12-hour together as well. So the key is, like you said, consistency, and you just got to keep it clean, and it's good. You got to find a setup that's good for you. You don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be the most consistent, I think.
So we got a couple of very demanding rounds ahead of us. We'll be heading next week to the great state of Michigan, into the Detroit Street Circuits, also known as Belle Isle, which, despite this beautiful name, might be anything but. And after that, we'll be at Bathurst. Are you confident that you'll be able to bring on some good results and be able to keep it clean in those races as well?
Yeah, I tend to do pretty well at both places. Every once in a while you do get dinged up there, but like I said, I do tend to. If you drive consistently through there, you don't have to run fast laps. People will take themselves out.
Well, I won't be saying let's hope that's the case, because that's kind of an ill will, but let's hope it all goes swimmingly for you. Right, Christopher, you already mentioned your teammates, but who are the people who make it happen for you, and who would you like to thank after your great third place finish?
Just everybody on SRTE. You know, we've been together for, I think I've been on the team for 2 years. You know, all the guys. You know, Matt, Ken, Dan. I mean, there's so many on our team. It's great to run with all these guys. And PRL has been it's brought us all together. We all kind of get together for practices and stuff like that. So, you know, it's just, you know, everything all together, PRL, SRTE. It's just been a awesome experience getting into sim racing.
Well, that's a lot of thanks and a lot of deserved thanks, I'm sure. I have one more thank you, and it's thank you, Christopher Rhines, for the interview, and enjoy the rest of your season.
Oh, thank you very much. Have a good one, guys.
Yep, you too. So that's Christopher Rhines, our third place finisher, and I lied when I said I have one more thank you. I actually have 4. The first one goes to Major's Garage, home of free baseline plus setups, 24/7 coaching, and more. Head to majorsgarage.com and use our special discount code Majors GSRC for 10% off. That's code Majors GSRC for 10% off. As well as ASR. They design and build the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. Visit them at advancedsimracing.com. RaceLab. It helps you to improve your driving skills. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. And finally, last but not least, ButtKicker! Feel what you've been missing at thebutkicker.com. That is thebutkicker.com, as well as NinjaTrader. So, the PRL GT Am Series is brought to you by NinjaTrader, ready to compete against the financial markets, supporting over 60,000 users across the globe. NinjaTrader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. NinjaTrader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit NinjaTrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start using your performance. So that's our thanks for today, and I have some personal thanks to make as well to our entire staff. Thanks to the team today, Kenny, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to Shuna Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more awesome work. You can also rep the Red brand. Check out our merchandise store at gsrcstorenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below for some of that coolest swag around. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on Global Sim Racing channel. Next races will be at Red Bull Ring and Detroit, February the 8th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern and 7:30 p.m. Midwest time, as well as 6:30 p.m. Pacific. We also have upcoming races for Auto Series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.